Oh baby, do we have good news for you? I wanted to talk about the end of the race because something wild has just happened. At time of publication, Virginia, the Supreme Court has decided to shove a boot down the throat of the weaponized federal government that is trying to rig our electoral process in this country with criminal alien voters. Breaking just moments ago, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court has halted a lower court ruling ordering 1,600 criminal alien voters back on the Virginia voter rolls. This ruling will impact thousands on the state's voter rolls and will impact presumably millions across the country. Because now you can take these kind of rulings and every single state can say, nope, criminal alien off the voter rolls. How have we gotten here? I don't even know. How is it that we're sitting here celebrating the fact that criminal aliens aren't allowed to rig our elections? I don't know. But you know what? We're here to shout our W's. So let's do that. The Supreme Court on Wednesday agreed to take up an emergency challenge from Virginia, temporarily halting federal judge's decision that ordered it to reinstate hundreds of non-citizens. Do you understand? When somebody tells you who they are, believe them. They put the non-citizens on the voter rolls. We've been telling you for years now that this is the goal. Like, the math works out very, very simply. The last election, Donald Trump's election, and the Joe Biden election was decided by like 40,000 voters. It's like a handful of voters. Democrats imported 30 million new voters, not 100,000, which would have absolutely filled the gap in certain swing states and rigged the election. They imported 30 million voters. Democrats know that on a rate of 10-1, newly naturalized American citizens vote for Democrats. So they've imported 30 million new Democrat voters. The number one stated mission of the Democrat Party is full naturalization, full voting citizenship rights for those 30 million new criminal aliens. That will forever change the country and will make it impossible for a Republican to win ever again. And now they are suing to make it happen. The state of Virginia ripped criminal aliens off their voter rolls. Now, it should be a crime. These people who registered to vote and they're not an American citizen, they should be thrown in prison. It's a crime. That means you're trying to rig an election. That's, by definition, foreign influence in our elections. Do you understand? Definitionally, that's foreign influence in our elections. The Supreme Court has now sided with Virginia. Praise God. In a 6-3 ruling. So 3 of the Supreme Court justices, how thin is the margin in this nation? 3 of the justices said, yep, let criminal aliens vote. Let anybody from any background vote. Let all of China come here. Let 1 billion people from China come to America and vote. 300 million Americans, let 1 billion Chinese people come to America, let them all vote. That's what a third of the Supreme Court said. What a sick time we are living in. Despicable, in fact. Here's the ruling itself. The decision is a victory for Governor Glenn Youngkin as it comes just days after the state of Virginia filed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court to halt lower court decision, altering to restore the names of some 1,600 individuals on the voter rolls. We're pleased with the Supreme Court's decision today, Youngkin told Fox News in a statement following the decision, a victory for common sense and election fairness. I'm grateful for the work of Attorney General Jason Miyares on this critical fight to protect the fundamental rights of the American citizen. At the heart of the case was whether Virginia's voter removal process violated a so-called quiet period under the National Voter Registration Act, federal law requiring states to halt all systematic voter roll maintenance for a 90-day period before the federal election. Thank God. The argument pitted the Department of Justice, which sued the state over its removal program earlier this month, against Youngkin, who insisted the state's process is individualized and conducted in accordance with state and federal law. Just days until the election, the court's decision is expected to be under a microscope. Virginia voter roll maintenance program was implemented in August and compares the state's Department of Motor Vehicle list of self-identified non-citizens to its list of registered voters. Individuals without citizenships were flagged and informed that their voter registration would be canceled unless they could prove that they were a citizen within 14 days, which is incredibly reasonable. So just prove you're a citizen. How about that? Come forward with documentation that says you're a naturalized American citizen. Do it. If not, then you're a criminal alien. You shouldn't even be here in the first place, but maybe you're here under some other program, right? That allows you to come here and HB1, work visa kind of thing. Okay, fine. But even if you're here and here fully legally, right, under like a work visa or whatever, and those do exist for tens of thousands, millions of Americans, you're not allowed to vote. You're not allowed to vote. You're a criminal if you vote. I am not allowed to travel right now to Argentina and vote in an Argentinian election just because I'm going to go work remote for a while. I am not allowed to do that. I would go to prison, presumably, in Argentina if I did that. The Justice Department argued that the removals were conducted too close to the elections and violated the quiet period, a decision backed by the U.S. judge in Alexandria, of course, who ordered Virginia to halt its removals and reinstate the illegal criminal alien voters. Justice Department officials also cited concerns in their lawsuits that eligible voters may have been incorrectly removed. Oh, okay, we'll prove it. In the state's petition to the Supreme Court, Attorney General objected to the lawsuit and subsequent court ruling on the grounds. First, he argued that that Virginia does not extend to self-identified non-citizens of the state, adopting a more narrow reading. Second, he argued that the Virginia voter roll process does not apply. The state still has an individualized process by removing the voters conducted by the Department of Motor Vehicles, directly local registration. And 26 Republican-led attorney generals joined in Virginia in filing an amicus brief with the Supreme Court, saying, yeah, we have a right to conduct our elections and to remove criminal aliens. The Supreme Court then stepped in, and Justice Thomas dropped the gavel. This court should reject the respondents' effort to change the rules in the middle of the game to restore the status quo. They wrote, the Constitution leaves decisions about voter qualifications to the people of Virginia, and the people of Virginia have decided that non-citizens are not permitted to vote. Duh! It's a massive, massive win, though, for voter integrity. Here's the chairman of the RNC, Chairman Whatley, saying, yo, it's time, baby. An outstanding victory for election integrity at the highest court in the land. Non-citizens cannot be allowed to vote in American elections. This is a perfect example of a brave state stepping forward to make sure that the law is enforced. Here's Jason Miyares, the Attorney General of Virginia, who just had this victory. I am pleased to announce that the Supreme Court has granted Virginia emergency stay to keep non-citizens off our voting rolls. It is like the garbage comment. It is indefensible. How are you supposed to defend it? You cannot defend it. It is indefensible. We just want criminal aliens to vote. These people, it really is. Here's again the ruling. It really is a damn election to save the country. It really is truly an election to save the country. Some of this news deserves to be celebrated. Here we go. The Virginia news.
Got some breaking news. U.S. Supreme Court a moment ago now just ruling that Virginia will be allowed to resume its purge of voter registrations. Remember, the governor said that there were some 1,600 who were admitted non-citizens. David Spuns live with that in D.C. What's the word, David? Hello.
Well, this is significant, and this is a controversial issue in Virginia. And while it's dealing with only 1,600 voters or so, it's something that could have national implications as we are now less than a week away. So Governor Glenn Youngkin signed an executive order back in August. The Department of Justice sued Youngkin, saying that he can't toy with executive orders and taking people off voter rolls within 90 days of an election. It violates federal law. Governor Youngkin says that some 1,600 people did not present their citizenship status. They are non-citizens of the United States, and they should not be able to vote. The Justice Department said some of them did not properly fill out a DMV form. They skipped over a box, or some became citizens later, resulting in actual U.S. citizens being removed from the rolls in error. So the Supreme Court ruling on that today. These are the states right now where legal challenges currently exist. Many are battleground states. In North Carolina, a federal appeals court ruled the state Republican Party's effort to question some 225,000 ballots must stay in federal court, not move to state court. That's a temporary win for Democrats there. In Pennsylvania, the Supreme Court expected to rule about provisional ballots there. Now,
ladies and gentlemen, what a like, did you remember this in America? Do you remember growing up in this country? I do. I was born in the 80s. I remember elections being done by 9 p.m. I don't remember all these shenanigans, all these lawsuits. Like, where the hell did we get off the track so hard? Where you have millions and millions of Americans, I mean, call it what it is. The Democrat Party has millions and millions of registered people with the Democrat Party saying, no, we need to import people to replace the garbage in America, you and me, and make sure that they can vote even when it's legal. Like, what the hell went wrong? It's demonic, man. It is a sick energy.